Okay guys, so we're back with this Ferrari 328, and as you can see, this is a transversely mounted V8 3.2 liter 8-cylinder 4-valve per cylinder engine. Now the spark plugs are center mounted, which is quite obvious for any 4-cam engine, and it has all of the spark plugs and spark plug wires numbered and completely routed very nicely across the block. That huge oil filter, which is an obvious thing for any classic Ferrari from the 1980s, and the way the airbox is actually mounted is quite a sight to see. But it's nicely laid out for a transverse mounted mid-engine car. Now obviously Ferrari went to great lengths to go to the longitudinally mounted mid-engine car, which is better in performance and obviously is easier to service in some cases, meaning the 360, 430, 458 models, not necessarily the 348 or 355, which are actually engine out of service models, which you have to literally drop the engine and the transmission as one complete unit in order to do anything on these cars. So how would you do the timing belt on a Ferrari 328? Well, you would literally remove the whole quarter panel to get to the timing belt. So that's a hell of a job in itself in order to service the timing belt. At least that's the easy way. But the hard way literally is to completely remove the engine, which a lot of very, very highly skilled techs can do. Now we're going to go over and see some of the other cars that they decide to conveniently hide from the rest of the show by parking out of the center of the show. And right here we have a lot of our BMWs that we've seen before. We've got a black Corvette base model, one that's similar to the Corvette I have, but this one is obviously in black, very well taken care of. It's got the Z51 package on it. It's just a beautiful car, period. I mean, any C6 Corvette is going to definitely attract attention. This is obviously an LS3 model with the Gumby wheels, similar to the ones that are on my car. And this gorgeous Mercedes right here. I mean, look at that. Nardi wheel. And you got an Opel GT over there, but I love the color on this Mercedes. It's a very, very beautiful metallic silverish blue, similar to the car that we looked at over there, the Porsche 911, but a shade darker. Now, for anybody who actually loves Volkswagens, this one right here is really nice. I mean, a lot of cars don't have to be super shiny. They don't have to be exactly in the best condition to be a cult classic. I mean, when you've got a car like this, and I'm pretty sure this is a Golf GL, so again, when you've got a car that has the cult following, and you know, you go to any meet and there's going to be at least one Volkswagen there. But as you can see from the interior, I mean, everything's nicely laid out. I mean, Volkswagen is very good about their ergonomics, the way they lay out their interiors, and these square body cars were one of the first to have composite headlights. So these cars are exceptional when it comes down to gathering people like gravity. I mean, when you want to get together with like-minded people, buy a Volkswagen. And right here you got a Lincoln Continental clap door. Now, the reason why they call it a clap door is because it has suicide doors. So when you open up the back door and you open up the front door, it opens up forward and backwards. And then when you get in simultaneously, it makes a clapping noise. So that's literally why they call it a clap door, because if you get in at the same time, well, it makes that clapping noise, and it's something that's iconic with that particular Lincoln model. Now, this orange on this BMW 2002, I would believe, at least I hope I'm right, because you know, they've had so many different cars. But yes, it is a 2002 TII. So this is an American model with a turbo, most likely. And these cars were pretty fast, and the father of the modern 3 Series that we all pretty much take for granted. And over here, this Volkswagen Bug is absolutely amazing. I really like this car. I mean, not only is the color really nice, but it's a Wolfsburg edition, and it has all the vintage luggage on the top of the rack. I mean, how cool is that? And the interior, just check out the interior. The painted steering wheel with the Wolfsburg horn button. You know, you got colored knobs that match. The dash is painted the same color. You got the polished aluminum grille. You know, the gauges, very Spartan. I mean, but you didn't really need much with these kinds of cars. They were enjoyable to drive with as little amenities and as little frills as possible, which is what makes them so amazing to drive. I mean, you got the bumpers, those small little tail lights, and obviously just this iconic styling, you know. I mean, when you got styling like this, what else do you really need? I mean, you could circle around this car for hours and just take it in. But one thing, guys, that I really love is some of the modern cars, like these 2 Jaguars right here, which are actually next to a XK140 or XK150. Oh, there's Turbo Tom.
Yeah, I've been walking around doing nothing.
And Turbo Tom has been talking and mingling with the showgoers. And obviously Minty Green got a lot of play.
Did you tell them about this Volkswagen van over here? Let me go tell you some stuff about this.
All right, so Turbo Tom is actually going to go and tell us about this Volkswagen bus, which is actually quite similarly colored to the BMW across from it, the 2002. But right here, Turbo Tom's going to explain a couple things.
This guy Mike, he picked this up about 5 years ago. It's been in Arizona, so it has no body rust on it. It's completely immaculate. He's selling it. He'll get you the number right there. He's asking $25K for it. That is a steal. 25,000 is not a bad. So if you're in the market for a VW van that's air-cooled, I would get that number and I would call this gentleman today, because I don't think this is going to last very long.
No, it's not. Chances are this particular Volkswagen bus, which has no body rust, which is well taken care of and well maintained. I mean, 25,000 is not a bad ask for such a beautiful example of Volkswagen history. And then not to mention that, when you consider that these vehicles, you can practically live in them, well, it's a whole lot cheaper than a house, that's for sure. Especially in today's economy and the way things are going right now. So, right through here, we've got a Alfa Romeo Veloce. This is the same one that you saw in the previous video that I posted, but it's still absolutely gorgeous. But right here, for the modern representation of cars here at a European Classic Car Show, we have a Toyota GR86, and this is probably the best color on this car. I mean, the Recaro seats in it look amazing. I mean, this one's actually a race seat with the stock seat right there, and they've actually hit the ball out of the park with this particular design, because even though the original GT86, or I'm trying to remember exactly what they called the original, you know, Scion model of this, and then the Toyota model of this, but regardless, the 86, it was looking kind of like a baby LFA, but this one right here has its own style. It has a more powerful engine, and the last iteration of the 86 before it went to this style really didn't look that great, to be honest with you. It kind of looked like a guppy that was trying to consume other fish, which guppies can't do any of that. But right here you have a S2000. This color, I'm not exactly sure what the name of the color is, but I'm not exactly sure if this is an F22 or an F20 motor.
Hey guys, gotta go. I gotta run, man. Sister-in-law's birthday, so.
Oh, all right. Well, that was quick.
Yeah. It's one of those days. I guess I'm gonna get home, then I gotta work. But anyway, I'll see you.
All right, no problem. Well, Turbo Tom's got to make a quick exit. I don't even think it was an hour. But regardless, Turbo Tom showed up, and that's all that matters, is when you show up and you actually get here, because regardless of how long you stay or how long you're going to be here, at the end of the day, showing up is all that matters. It's something that builds character and assures everybody that you can be counted on. And when it comes down to car clubs and car shows and everything, getting people out here, it's like pulling teeth or grabbing people by the hair. You know, if you're into cars, be into them. You know, show up. And, you know, if you got obligations, if you got things you got to do, then so be it. But don't just not show up and claim you're a car enthusiast. And that's the one thing that truly bothers us, is that why would you say something like that if you aren't the real deal? It's just being fake. But I can't believe the amount of attention that Mouseball has been getting over there, which is great. A whole lot of people are gathering over at this spot, and probably because I have this cream colored 911 next to my car. But then the Lotus Esprit is an absolute doll. I mean, what a gorgeous car. And this couple's from Rhode Island, so I mean, just look at the lines on this car. The Esprit is a Giugiaro design. It's a gorgeous car. It was one of the final cars to have pop-up headlights, and it's as exotic as any Ferrari, as any Lamborghini, and it'll definitely turn heads at any car show. And then you have this cream-colored 911. I mean, like I said, from the early 70s to the late 70s to the early 80s to the late 80s to the beginning of the 90s, these cars changed incrementally in size, incrementally in shape, you know, but the dash layout, the ergonomics, all of that stuff has kind of remained the same. You know, nothing has really changed when it's actually come down to how the car is built and its performance. It's always been the same car. It's always done what Porsches are known to do, and that's perform at the most elite level and be a driving experience that is absolutely and utterly enjoyable. But guys, stay happy, stay healthy, stay wealthy, and remember, when you bring Mouseball, it doesn't matter what the weather is, we always show up. Take it easy, guys. Mouseball out.